Hey everyone, Mr. Macintosh here, and Apple just released the first major update for macOS Sonoma 14.1. In this video, we're going to go over all the changes and features in this release, along with talking about the new Apple event on October 30th that's going to have some new Macs. We're going to talk about OpenCore Legacy Patcher 1.1.0. We're going to go through a live walkthrough of updating to 14.1 on our MacBook Pro, and we're going to look at OpenCore Legacy Patcher on an unsupported Mac. We got a lot to cover. Let's jump in and get started. Now, we originally thought that we were going to get at least 17.1 and the other updates on October 24th yesterday, but instead that didn't happen, and we got the announcement for the Mac event on October 30th. But we got the entire slew today, and let's first start with macOS. Obviously, we got 14.1. macOS Ventura got 13.6.1. macOS Monterey got 12.7.1. And if you don't see Big Sur here, it is because Apple's no longer supporting macOS Big Sur for security updates. Safari 17.1 got updated in macOS Sonoma, and it is available as a standalone update for macOS Ventura and macOS Monterey. We also got Xcode 15.0.1 a couple days ago, and on the iOS side, we got a ton of updates. We got 3 different iOS updates. We got 17.1 for the latest update, and there was actually a 17.1 update for iPhone 15 Pros that was a different build version. We got 16.7.2 and even iOS 15.8. For iPadOS, we got the same versions, and AudioOS 17.1, tvOS 17.1, and watchOS 10.1. The demonstration Mac here today for the update walkthrough is a MacBook Pro 13-inch M1 2020, and we are on 14.0, the release version. To update, all we need to do is go into System Settings, and then click on either Software Update if it's already checked for the day, or go into General and then click on Software Update. It'll check, or if it already checked for the day, it will show up as available. You can click on More Info to get all the fixes and features and see the size of the update. All you need to do is click Update Now and agree, and then type in your password for your account, and it'll start to download the Sonoma 14.1 update. Remember, if you have an unsupported Mac with OpenCore Legacy Patcher, you're going to get the full 12 gigabyte update. That is normal. Don't worry about that. That is normal. So we've got 2.25 gigabytes downloading, and we'll let that go. And then as soon as we get ready to restart, we're going to track how long it takes to actually prepare and install the update. Alright, we're back up after the update. Let's log in. And we got our analytics. You can click on that if you want to share that with Apple, or click continue. And we do see this. I want to talk about this real quick. So if you get this, home could not use your current location. Home uses the location for setting up accessory automations, like turning off the lights when you leave your house, and enables Siri to help you control accessories. And I think Apple was already let known about this issue, so you can click don't allow if you don't use any of those things. Don't worry about that, but I wanted to call this out, so if you see that, other people are experiencing that too. So now that we're back in, let's check the version number, and we are on 14.1. I talk about the build version in case you were testing the beta versions of macOS Sonoma, because the RC version was 23B73. So if you were normally on the RC version, you think, hey, I'm on the public version, but Apple did change the build number by 1 on the public version. So all you need to do is turn off the beta updates, and you should see the 14.1 update, which is 74, to be able to update to, and then you are on the final release. You should be set after that. So how long did it take to install the 14.1 update from 14.0, the public release version? Well, the preparing part took 17 minutes, and after I restarted, the installation part took 4 minutes, for a total start to finish of 21 minutes. Now, I always make sure that I let you know that when we talk about this, this is if you didn't download it at all. But if you have software updates and automatic updates enabled, the update will automatically download in the background if you have download new updates when available, and it will immediately start to prepare it for you. So this part will be gone, and all you'll have to do is wait the 4 minutes for the installation to actually happen. Now, how does this compare to macOS Ventura? If we pull in our good old trusty MacBook Air, we can see all of the tracked updates that I tracked here, all the way back to the 13.1 update. The update here was a little bit faster, only 12 minutes from start to finish. And when you get into some of the smaller security updates, it gets a lot faster, around 8 minutes. So that's why I keep track, just so you can get an idea how long it takes to install. Safari was also updated. We got a new build version of Safari. I also updated my Safari individual package download site for macOS Ventura and macOS Monterey if you need to be able to reinstall Safari. Plus, there was a full installer release for macOS 14.1. I got the link there, and we also got an Apple Silicon IPSW Restore file released for 14.1. There's a couple of questions about if there is a new version for macOS Ventura. Once the new operating operating system comes out, Apple usually stops releasing previous OS version IPSW Restore files, so the last version available for macOS Ventura is 13.6. The 14.1 update also updated the Apple Silicon firmware to 10.151.41.12, and the OS Loader version was also updated. The Intel T2 Bridge OS update was also updated to 10.69.0.0. Now let's go over some of the new features of the Sonoma 14.1 update, and we're looking at the Apple What's New and Updates for macOS Sonoma page. We've got two features that are in 14.1. We've got a change to Apple Music. So if we open up Music, the favorites expanded in Apple Music include songs, albums, and playlists, and now you can filter to display your favorites in the library. There's also a new Apple warranty status for Mac, AirPods, Beats headphones, and earbuds, and they are now available in System Settings. Let's take a look at that. To get there, all you need to do is go into System Settings, and then go to General, and then you'll see the new coverage section here, and all you need to do is click on it. But when you do click on it, it does use your Apple ID to look at all your products to be able to show you the coverage. So when you click on that, that's where you'll see you need to be able to sign in with your Apple ID. Now let's go over some of the fixes. First of all, there's an issue where System Services settings within Location Services may reset. So let's take a look at that now. To get into that section, all you need to do is go into System Settings, then go into Privacy and Security, and then Location Services, and then you can see the location services here and go into the details section, and then any of these system services could have been reset if you change them. So you can double check in here to make sure any of these settings that you previously set are set properly now after the 14.1 update. And the next fix is if you had a file vault or an encrypted external drive like a USB drive or a Thunderbolt drive, and you could not get them to mount on 14.0, that issue is fixed now, and you should see a prompt to be able to unlock the device, and it should mount properly on the desktop when you try to mount those devices. Now, another item I wanted to talk about is a new support article that Apple just put out if you use a camera or a video output device after updating to macOS Sonoma 14.1. I've got this article here in this link, and I'll put this in the description. And what Apple did is they're improving the security for camera devices. They let the software manufacturers and the developers know about this, and they needed to make changes in their software. If the software maker put out an update that is now compatible with this new way of security, then you're fine. But if your developer or manufacturer did not do that, then your video device is considered a legacy video device, and you will need to do extra steps to be able to make your camera work. The whole point of this is security. And you can see what Apple says here. This modern software provides a more secure and privacy-conscious experience, including support for the camera privacy indicator, a green dot that displays in the menu bar while your camera is used. So for example, malware piece that's put on your machine and activate your external camera. We're not talking about the FaceTime camera in your Mac. We're talking about a third-party camera or capture device. So they can't activate that. It is now using the built-in security protection, so you can keep an eye on that. But if you need to be able to do that, there's instructions here to be able to boot to recovery and then do a system override and allow the legacy camera plugins without the indication if you have one of those older devices. Now let's talk about what's new in enterprise for macOS Sonoma. This is usually for businesses and education and government, but a lot of times Apple puts more of the detailed fixes in here that might actually affect you. So let's go over some of those. First of all, continuity features can now be used with Managed Apple IDs. Managed Apple IDs are used in enterprise, government, and school to be able to control the Apple ID system settings. For example, they can't sign in with their personal and transfer data off that's confidential. And now you can use those continuity features, and you can take a look at this article here that tells a little bit more about that, which is a great improvement for sure. There's also a new lockdown mode in macOS Sonoma wallpaper setup panes that can be skipped when using MDM. So for example, when you go through the first setup assistant, when you install macOS Sonoma, you'll see these windows in there, and you can choose to skip those if you're using a mobile device management server. SMB shared contents are now correctly shown when using a distributed file system. MDM no longer fails to install enterprise apps after installing an App Store app. And finally, software updates no longer displays a required manage update notification when no updates are available. Now let's look at the security content of the 14.1 update. And now one thing to remember is Apple always says if you want to have the most secure operating system, always install the latest version. macOS Monterey and macOS Ventura might not get all the security fixes that are in Sonoma. But if you look at this, there's 27 different security fixes in 14.1, including 6 WebKit and Safari fixes. One of the things that we do when we go in here is we check to see if any of these Apple has reported that have been actively exploited in the wild, and there isn't any at this time. But that doesn't say that Apple doesn't update this article with more information later. But these are the list of all the security fixes. Now let's take a look at the Geekbench 6 benchmark scores for this M1 13-inch 2020. On a single core on our 14.0, we did a 2391 on a single core and an 8730 on the multi-core. Once we updated to 14.1, we've got a single core of 2399 and an 8757 on the multi-core. Really close, and that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for large swings up or down to see if there was any large changes or any issues with the update for 14.1. Now let's talk about OpenCore Legacy Patcher for unsupported Macs for macOS Sonoma 14.1. Our demonstration Mac here today is a 2013 Mac Pro desktop, and we have updated to macOS Sonoma 14.1, and we are running the latest version of OpenCore Legacy Patcher 1.1.0. I wanted to cover the update, but the 14.1 update did not come out yet, so I filmed last night on 1.1.0 and 14.0 and all the previous Ventura and Monterey and Big Sur updates. So I'm actually going to come out with that video later and almost say it's a part 1. So some people actually like to stay on the previous version for a little bit. So this will show you the compatibility with 1.1.0 on the previous versions. But then I'll do part 2 that'll go a lot quicker. That will cover 1.1.0 on the latest updates for Sonoma Ventura and macOS Monterey. But so far we're looking really good on this. We've got our Bluetooth, we got our Wi-Fi, our sound, everything's working well. We definitely went through the process. We did have a new KDK download that worked out perfectly, no problems there. The automatic patcher did kick in, no issues, and we are looking good. Keep an eye out for that video probably coming out tonight or tomorrow that will go over 1.0.1 on 14.0, and then part 2 will come later. Now let's talk a little bit about the Apple event on October 30th. First of all, it's interesting that it's an evening event. Usually all the events are in the morning or early afternoon, but we have 5 p.m. Pacific time or Cupertino time, so this will be kind of interesting as like a evening event. Plus there is no in-person component to this, so for example no one is going to be able to go to the HQ to be able to see these in person, so it'll all be online at apple.com streaming. What we're expecting is brand new MacBook Pros, and we're expecting an iMac. The iMac hasn't been updated since the original M1 version, so we're really hoping we're going to get that. And actually someone posted a possible leak of the new MacBook Pro box. You can kind of see the wallpaper that's in there, which is really interesting. Again, we don't know if this is real or not, but it actually looks pretty close of what the front of the box could look like. But you can see the design is regular aluminum and not space gray, so it'll be interesting to see, or silver, so it'll be interesting to see if this really comes out to be true or not. So I'm excited. What are you excited to see about this event, and are you going to watch it? And let me know in the comments. Do I recommend installing the 14.1 update? Yes, because the 14.0 is the first release of macOS Sonoma, and there's always going to be some issues there. Usually the 14.1, 14.2, and 14.3 updates usually try to clean up any kind of issues that are happening, and Apple will fix things in the update that they don't put on the fix list. I definitely do recommend updating this for some of the fixes, the stability, and the security update fixes. Video, did you update to Sonoma yet? Did you install the 14.1 update? Are you still staying on macOS Ventura? Let me know in the comments. I'm kind of curious to know your situation. Did you install the OpenCore Legacy Patcher 1.1.0 update? How did it go? Let me know. Stay tuned for those 2 OpenCore Legacy Patcher update videos that are coming really soon, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks.